If you lose, it's not a problem. So be confident. Maru, listening to what she said, stayed lost in thought without uttering a word. Watching him like that, Juna patted him on the shoulder and said, "You need to walk with your chest out. Understand, just show them what you've got. And that's enough." Still blushing, Maru answered, "I got it." Seeing him like that, Juna encouraged him even more. "Winning or losing is not the issue, and there is nothing to be afraid of, since I'm here. Juna is always here for you to lean on." Soon enough, Kong Maru came to the field, catching everyone's eyes. The players, however, failed to recognize him at once. Others were still skeptical, believing that today we had to contend with acne again. They did not know what was going on. All they knew was that Senior Dong Trey and Senior Single appeared to be wagering on something which was already sufficient to get the rumors going. Sumho was shocked when he discovered that it was a bed. His companion informed him the fellow standing there is Kong Maru, the plump fellow from selection trials. Suddenly Sumho recalled how he used to call Maru a lamppost. Now he understood Maru had lost considerable. Some weight upon hearing this, Sumho couldn't keep it to himself, and in a flash he bellowed, "Hey, lamppost, hang in there." Juna was irritated by this and grumbled under her breath. "I sort of wish that guy would get beaten up once more by Dong Trey." Dong Trey had now joined the field as well. Some of the players were already losing interest and considering leaving, finding this whole experience dull. Single began explaining the rules at that point. "Other than with your hands, it doesn't matter what part of your body you use, the two of you just have to keep the ball from touching the ground, and whoever gets 3 laps around the field with the ball first wins. If the ball touches the ground, the penalty is to spin in place holding the ball then back to the starting point." "Easy enough, huh?" Single repeated, again. Dong Trey, hearing this, smirked and replied, "If that's all, it's as easy as pie. The result has already been decided." One of his minions, however, whispered in his ear, "Easy as pie, not easy as pig slop. In saying easy as pig slop, you're implying that you're referring to yourself as a pig attempting to conceal his nervousness." Dong Trey dismissed it, stating, "Whether pie or slop, it's easy to me." The captain of the team, who was sitting on the bench, said, "It might be easy, but just as he had learned soccer in Brazil, victory isn't sure." Sure. He won a few elementary school medals and was part of the soccer association, but since entering Haza High School, his luck hasn't been good. He went on. "I've told you before, if you compare yourself to people who reach the sun, then go and become youth soccer representatives. Regardless of how well Dong Trey plays on the field, his advancement will be capped. But if I look at that opponent over there, Kong Maru looks even more pathetic." Kong Maru, timid and nervous, was sniffing. The viewers began speculating on how Maru was only a popular errand boy at school. They questioned out loud, why in the world would he suddenly dream of becoming a soccer player? He's hardly ever played soccer. This is absurd. Even if the game does not go through, we already know the outcome. Listening to how his rival had studied in Brazil, Maru became increasingly insecure. Then suddenly, Single gave him a hard slap on the back and just told him, "Do what you always do. Just give your best." While the guy with glasses smiled menacingly at Dong Trey and whispered in his ear. Whatever he whispered made Dong Trey laugh out loud. And then as Single blew the whistle to mark the beginning of the match, Maru carefully started to lift the ball. Dong Trey, still full of contempt, sarcastically, said, "I don't know what I'm supposed to be waiting for you." He went on cheering sarcastically, as if he were a Kong Maru fan. Then Dong Trey shouted at Single, double-checking the rules, "So the only rule is not to drop the ball and go around 3 times in the field. Right?" Single affirmed. Dong Trey grinned after hearing this and let go of the ball in his hand and assumed a kick stance as if to kick. With great force, he kicked the ball right at Maru's head. Maru flinched, turned to glance over his shoulder, but the ball hit him in the back, and he lost control of the ball on his foot. The kick left Maru hurt, and he stumbled forward as the ball shot high into the air. Dong Trey seized the opportunity, holding the ball in his chest as he went around the field with a condescending expression. He jokingly remarked, "You got to be more careful," then added sarcastically, "Oops, looks like you'll have to start all over again." Meanwhile, at that point, some boys nearby were teasing. "I heard that guy is worse at soccer than Kong Maru, and even he got eliminated," Dong Trey went on taunting. "Oops, you have to be more careful the next time." Though very angry, Kong Maru could not do anything. The first-year students at Haza High appreciated Dong Trey's ball control, saying his ball handling ability is no joke. His chest control is very skillful. What's even more amazing is that he can keep the ball from falling even holding it on the top of his foot. Despite the light rain and wind, the gap between him and Kong Maru was growing painfully evident. Dong Trey